This is the Wednesday Mind Emission on the Toad Cam coming from New York, Toad City. Success strategies, how to get them. I've looked at, I wouldn't say every single how to succeed book on the market, but I've definitely haunted Barnes & Noble and looked at as many as I possibly can. I've read as many as I possibly can. And some fit into what you would call sort of the corporate structure category. They're how to do things better, what you need to do, and there's some very, very good stuff written about working within the corporate, sort of the higher level, up there in the C-suite, etc. Corporate land. There's another set of books that are written for the kind of the managerial type, how to manage people. There's a third set of books that are written for the sales type of person, how to sell things. And there's a kind of a fourth category, which is entrepreneurship, how to come up with stuff. And I've tried to synthesize as much of those learnings into a few simple basic principles that I think would apply to pretty much anybody in any field. Traits you must have, or traits you must work on to really get true success, and not in the sense of being a faster mouse on the mouse wheel working for somebody else, but really directing your own fate, even if you're within an organization. What do you need? What does it take to be that kind of person who stands out and makes waves? You know, people start reaching out to you and seeing value in you and wanting to accelerate your success so you can help accelerate their success. And that's a lot of how it works. People say, "Oh, you're somebody that I want as a powerful ally or a powerful contributor to the upper levels of our organization," versus just kind of this droning pud that's just pudding along, clocking till you split for the day, kind of half checked in, half checked out. I think in general, what is the fundamentally most important trait for any kind of success in anything, especially in business, especially in competitive business, is curiosity. And I mean just a constant desire to know more, to get more information, more data. Knowledge is power. In this economy, in this day and age, knowledge is profound power, and really knowing what's going on behind the scenes. People who spend a lot of time understanding everything they can about their business, about the structure of their industry, how it works, what the regulatory apparatuses are that are around it, the business opportunities, the challenges it faces, the financing problems it faces, the staffing problems that it faces. If you know those things, and you're able to discuss those things coherently, people are going to really notice that and notice that you are a database of important information about the industry, clear, deep, good, high value information. So that's one way you can definitely get ahead in organizations, is being known as a really good go-to database. You really know what's up with everything. And curiosity is a fundamental feature to that. The more curious people, I think curiosity and basic intelligence are absolutely linked. Not very intelligent people tend to be not very curious, although I have met lots of testably high IQ people who are not awfully curious about what's going on. So I don't know if they're exactly linked up. Another trait, trait 2 that you want to have, that will be a very, very important trait, is thoroughness. And I've noticed that a lot of people are not very thorough, especially about checking things out. They'll see something on TV, or they'll hear a rumor going around or something, and they'll just repeat it. But they won't stop and do a lot of background checking on how valid is that story, what facts back it up, what was the origin of the story. Organizations are filled with rumors, and basically organizations, a lot of dysfunctional organizations, are filled with a bunch of paranoid rumor mongers who are constantly trying to sort of get at each other through fomenting rumors. So you've got to have a much more thorough mentality. You know things thoroughly. You know them from multiple sources. You don't just take one source as gospel. You don't just repeat one thing you saw on the internet. So I think the thorough mindset, and employers really like thorough thinkers. For example, Jack Welch once CEO of GE, was telling at some business group, he was telling them what he wanted in an executive. And he said any executive that wanted to send him an analysis, a proposal, he wanted 3 scenarios. So he wanted not just the way it kind of looks at now, but what are like 3 different possibilities of things aren't exactly as we assume they are, aren't exactly as we anticipate them. So I think the thorough check it out, thorough background checking, thorough get to the root of things kind of mindset is also absolutely essential for success. So you've got to be very curious, and you've got to be very thorough. And probably the third one is that you've got to think long term, in the sense that you think, you're doing things because they fit in a goal structure. You're going to move toward a goal. And people that think, okay, each effort you're investing in the moment is aimed at some kind of long-term outcome. So it's a long-term mindset, okay, versus a short-term, just get paid off and get out the door. A lot of salespeople are basically motivated in a very short-term system, and you really don't do a lot of advancing unless you're doing some kind of major sales, selling aircraft or something. If you're just selling one little thing over and over again, you're just going to be motivated in a very short-term way. Do you hit your sales goals? Do you get a bonus, a sales bonus? And you're sort of on that sales treadmill. But if you're really in a long-term thinking, you're thinking about, okay, what knowledge do I need? What professional development do I need? What kind of industry chops do I need to really get to the next place? And everything is thought through in kind of in a long-term strategic way. So I would say curiosity, I would say a really dedicated sense of thoroughness, and 3, a strategic mentality versus a tactical mentality. You're not so concerned about winning every little battle, every little ego stare down. You're really thinking, well, where does this actually lead in the where's the the longest term endpoint outcome of this thing? So keep those in mind. Long term, thorough, curious. And if there's a 4th one that I think is absolutely essential, and one that makes a huge amount of difference, is learning to be articulate, learning how to articulate a viewpoint. Learning how to articulate someone else's viewpoint is very, very important, even if it's not yours. So if you're able to sit down with your employer, investors, and say, look, my viewpoint on this, and you're very articulate, they really get it. And my associate's viewpoint is, if I understand it correctly, and you can articulate that. You can say, I don't entirely agree with that, but I believe that's what he's trying to communicate. So if you're known as having the ability to, put the word on it, to give it, to articulate it, to make it very crystal clear to some other person, that's another superior skill. So let's give them 4 skills. You can articulate. You learn how to articulate ideas and make them clear and understandable quickly and with satisfying depth to another person. You think long term, you think strategically, you're very thorough, you check things out, you don't take rumors for granted, but you do check information, and you have thorough knowledge, and you are relentlessly curious. And I think if you've got those 4 qualities in place, people will see you very much as a desirable asset and a promotable asset in any organization.